Little interior update for the Ovrlnd camper build. Got my first layer of siding put in, and what I decided to use for the siding was laminate sheeting. This is Wilson Art brand. There's also Formica. A few reasons why I chose to do this instead of a plywood. One, I wanted to keep it as light as possible, and two, laminate is super thin. I wanted the siding to fit beneath the trim of this window, and there's a little bit of a gap and it just slips right in there. Another major reason why I went with laminate sheeting instead of wood siding is the bed slide out. See how in the bed there's probably only a 1/4 inch gap on either side that allows the bed to be able to slide out, and I didn't want to take up this gap and have it be really tight with any sort of wood and then the wood get chipped up or the bed not even be able to move. So this Formica or Wilson Art laminate siding is going to be perfect. It doesn't take up any room at all. The biggest pain in the butt with working with this stuff is cutting it out, and I'm going to show you guys how I cut it and what I'm using to install it onto the walls here. So I got this piece test fitted on here, and you want to make sure the Formica or laminate is lower than your camper rail. I don't want this canvas to get hung up and tear on this sheeting, so I'm going to cut this a bit lower, like a hair's width lower. So that'll give me an opportunity to show you how I cut this stuff. These are the scissors that I used. Some old, not even that sharp scissors. One thing to keep in mind when cutting these laminate sheets is you might experience some cracking, especially around tight corners. When you turn the scissors, or if you use a router or any other way to cut, you might crack some pieces. What I found worked really good was using some Gorilla brand super glue for small cracks that I just couldn't get around. I just glued the pieces back together, and you really can't notice it unless you're really looking for them. So Gorilla Glue, super glue is definitely going to be your friend when trimming up these laminate sheets. I was also pretty surprised with how easily these sheets were cut with just a standard pair of scissors. I first tried to use tin snips, but tin snips are much too wide and causes the sheets to flex and possibly break when you're cutting them. So scissors, I think, are the way to go. I also was looking into routers, but routers with the fences, and it was just a lot of figuring out and setting up. So I think the simplest way, at least for this type of build, is just to use scissors and measure and give yourself the straightest lines to follow, is what I'm trying to say. So now I'm just going to measure out where my beams are, where I can screw into, transfer those measurements onto here. One thing I noticed on this side, I screwed it in, but in the middle where there's no screws, it's hard to tell on camera, but there's a little bit of flex when you press against the wall. But I don't mind it on this side because I'm going to put a big cabinet here, so most of this wall is going to be covered up. But on this side, I don't plan on putting any cabinetry. So I'm going to try to use some of this spray adhesive on the back side here, just so it grips the centers of these insulation panels. And then with the screws, I think that'll give a really more solid fit. So I'll let you know how this works. This thing is almost out. That bottle was like almost out of glue, but it still helped a lot. It's holding on there all by itself. Whew. There we go. I really like the glue. Holds it on there good. It doesn't flex like this side does. But again, this is gonna have a cabinet, so no worries. This side won't. So the glue's good, even though I barely had enough glue. If I had a full can, this thing would have been. The rest of it will be easy. And for the roof, I'm definitely gonna use glue against the insulation for the roof. So yeah. All right, here's the interior so far. A lot more to do. Thanks for watching.